Welcome to episode 4 of Learning to Hot Tent on a Budget, and in today's episode, I'm finally sleeping in the tent. And I know this is only in my backyard, but I want to test out and show you my sleep system that I'm using, and then I want to figure out how I'm going to kind of set up the tent and just have the general experience of camping overnight in the tent before I head out into the wilderness, which will probably be on the very next episode. I haven't actually been in here in a week. So I don't know how good the view is here, but like the stove is here, my door is right here. So I'm thinking that if the stove is this way and I'm laying here, that it might be easier for me to have some wood over here and open it up and load it up in the middle of the night. So we're currently about minus 8 degrees Celsius.
The answer is 17.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
I left some wood out here because I've actually got quite a bit of wood. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if I can fix that for you. So hopefully that's going to get me through the night. We'll see. Also, cheer me on for not using my chainsaw because I probably should have used my chainsaw. So I think the bed in the back there will do just fine. So I brought all my bedding out. So I've got my pillow, I've got my blow up mattress, I've got my ground mat, and 2 sleeping bags. First though, I'll tell you, I really need a coffee. So I've got this percolator here. I've had it for quite a long time. I've already preloaded it with the coffee. And this will actually be the first coffee on the stove. So while the coffee is brewing, I might as well do a temperature check. So we are, if you can read that, 8 degrees Celsius, which is 47 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to put the sleep system together and I'll show you all of the pieces that I actually have here. Okay, so first things first is the ground mat. So this is reflective on one side, so that'll keep my body heat going. And I wanted that for on the snow. My mattress that I have does have some R value, but I just wanted to make sure because, you know, when it's cold and you don't want to wake up with a chill, that's the worst. And so this is the mattress I have here. This is by Gear Doctor, and this goes for regularly about $99 on Amazon. I think we got it for about 20 bucks off on that one. And this actually has an R value of 5 point something, 5 we'll say. And so I didn't buy this specifically for winter tenting. We actually bought this, Joanna found it online on Amazon, and we actually bought this for our summer camping too because it's super light and everything like that. And it's nice to have some warmth when you're sleeping on the ground for sure. And so this actually comes with a bag, an air sac too, so you don't actually have to blow it up. It was a little bit of a learning curve for me, but I think I got it. And I can tell you that just from having my knee on this tarp here to having it on this mat here is a world of difference. This thing is super warm. So far anyways. And so with an R value of 5, I'm super excited to try this out. I haven't actually slept on it yet. It feels pretty comfortable. So first time for this, and looking forward to it. So here we have the Trekology, a Luft pillow. And this thing looks pretty good. One thing with camping, a pillow will be nice. This is another thing that Joanna got a hold of through Amazon. For our summer camping as well. So this obviously serves a dual purpose. It's not just for winter camping. So it's kind of neat. It's got a button here that holds the air in. You can put air in, but it won't come out. And then you just press the button in there and it comes out. Pretty good for blowing it up for sure. It's got this strap to go around here, so your pillow doesn't go flying in the middle of the night while you're having some kind of crazy nightmare. It's getting pretty warm in here, so it's time for a temperature check. So over here, closer to the wall, we're sitting at 16.6 degrees Celsius or 61 degrees Fahrenheit. So over by the bed, we are pretty much the same. And you can see at the lower part of the tent there, it's frozen up. That's just poor air distribution. And so up here at the top of the tent, I've left this for at least 5 minutes. It's 24.3 and rising 0.4 degrees Celsius, which is 76 degrees Fahrenheit. So air distribution is something I'm working on. I actually have one of those fans coming in that you put onto your hot stove, and then it just starts going on its own. It doesn't need power or anything. And because I'm at home, I put a fan up here. I haven't turned it on yet because I wanted to do that temperature check, and I want to see how that distributes the air. So looking outside, we're still around 8 degrees Celsius. So I started up the fan and it's at the top of the tent blowing down. So hopefully that's going to blow down some of that hot air. Okay, so I brought 2 sleeping bags because I wasn't sure how things were going to go, if it was going to be like too cold. So this one is just a summer bag. I don't even know if there's a rating on this one or not. This is an old one that we had. And then we have this one here. This is a Mountain Warehouse that, again, Joanna found online, Amazon, of course. It's a mummy bag and it's rated 4 degrees Celsius or 39 degrees Fahrenheit. And that goes down to minus 17 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Fahrenheit. But I don't suppose you'd be very warm in this bag at that temperature, because the comfort again is 4 degrees Celsius to like minus 1 degree Celsius or 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So what I was gonna do if it gets cold, and if I go out again and it gets cold, I'm gonna put the mummy bag inside of this bag and hope for the best. With the R value of this pad of being 5, I feel like that's gonna be pretty good. So tonight, I'm just gonna put this one underneath me, and then I'm going to sleep in the mummy bag. So that's the sleep system. I feel like this one bag is gonna be more than enough for tonight, but really it's hard to say, because once the fire dies out, I don't know, maybe I'm gonna get really cold. And so I feel like there's enough room in the tent for 2 people to be fairly comfortable with low beds or low cots. They would have to be low. You have one bed here and you would have one bed across here. Of course, the table and chair wouldn't be here. The only issue I could see is if you have a lot of gear, then where are you gonna put it, right? So you do have to have some wood in here. And then this is by the front door, so we could probably find some room for gear like back in the corner, but you want to make sure it's nothing that can freeze, right? And then right in the middle too, you could have some gear, I guess, somewhere around here. I'm not sure, but then if you have to get up at night or whatever. But you can do 2 people in this tent to sleep overnight for sure. So I can finally sit down and relax to a drink. I'm having a Jim Beam Black Extra Aged. I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty good. It's bourbon, so my son got this for Joanna and I for Christmas. So I got a new knife for Christmas from Joanna. It's pretty good. So this is a buck knife, and it's got a ferro rod, and in this video that was the first time I actually ever used a ferro rod to start a fire. But I'll show you the knife quick, and then I'll tell you about what I used to start the fire. So this is the Buck Selkirk 863, I believe it is, and it's a pretty good knife. Like it's like a kind of survival knife, sort of. I don't know if you'd consider it a bushcraft knife, but I love it. It's awesome, and can't thank Joanna enough for that one. So the ferro rod it snaps in there, and you can take it out, and then it's with you all the time. So it's pretty cool. I like it. And then what I used to start the fire there, those little pads. So these are just little cotton pads. They're little cotton pads that it's almost like a cotton ball. You know, you buy those stacks of the pads just with some petroleum jelly on it. And petroleum jelly obviously is oil, so these are really good fire starters, and they worked really good with the ferro rod. So we're 14 degrees Celsius on the bed, which is about 57 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm pretty confident that that one sleeping bag is going to be more than enough to keep me warm tonight. Time for another one. I'm embarrassed to say that I'm still reading this Star Wars spin-off, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. I started reading it during that video where I was in that lightning storm in the tent, and I got a fair way through. I'm over halfway through, but then I just stopped reading it. I put it down, and I picked it up the other day, and so I'm determined to finish this book because I've had it around since I was quite young, meaning to read it, and haven't done it. Initially feeling a little cool in the sleeping bag, but just a sleeping bag because it's been close to the wall, I think. But I'm expecting it to heat up. I have my toque, I have an extra sweater, I do have my jacket as well if I need. So I'm pretty confident that I'm gonna be warm enough without too much problems. So I'm gonna head to bed, and in the morning I'll talk about how I slept, how the loading of the wood was, and all that business. So have a good night. Well, I made it through the night. It's minus 6 degrees Celsius outside, which is about 21 degrees Fahrenheit, I think. So it's about 7:30 right now. I've probably been up most of the night, actually. I didn't sleep the greatest between loading the stove and the mattress I got here. I might have blown it up a little bit too hard. It was a little bit firm for me. Also, this bag actually, like, being so low, the heat just kind of popped up and missed a lot here, missed me a lot. So I feel like the bag, I could have been maybe used my second sleeping bag or dressed a little warmer in there. The zipper was on the wrong side actually as the stove. So I had to unzip myself on this side and then turn around and try and load the stove and everything. Regardless, like I did get some sleep and I did get some rest. I don't feel horrible this morning. But yeah, those are some things. Like it was a little cooler than I was hoping it would have been. I could have maybe loaded the stove a little more. These big pieces, maybe I made a mistake leaving these big pieces. I figured, oh, they'll burn slow, but I can only get one in and then it leaves a lot of extra space in there, but I can't get another one in. So I think maybe a mixture of more small and some big ones, or maybe just more thinner ones, you know, along this line here might have been a better choice for me. As far as coldness goes, the mat does feel a little bit cool, but not bad at all for sure. And I can't tell if that's coming up from the ground because this under mat actually feels not bad. It feels pretty warm, like the mat underneath this one feels warm. So it could have just been coming, the coldness could have just been coming from the tent. I do have one of those fans that sits on top of the stove, or I'm getting one. It's coming in on Monday. So I'm hoping that that's going to distribute the air a little better. The fan I had on the roof, it didn't do a whole lot. Like I don't feel like it helped a huge amount. Maybe I needed it on a higher setting to bring that air down. I'm not sure. Another thing which I would eventually work for in a winter camping situation is a heavier sleeping bag, a bigger one that's rated for, you know, I don't know what they are, -20, something lower than 0 degrees Celsius. But I did have a lot of wood left, so I still have wood outside as well. So that's good to know. Like I have another day's worth of wood here, probably like a day and night, maybe even. I decided not to cook breakfast in the tent today because it's Sunday morning. We're getting close to 8 o'clock and the neighbors are going to get up and there's going to be lots more sounds happening and everything like that. On the next episode, I should be out in the wilderness doing the full camp with the complete hot tent setup and everything I've learned, and I'm sure I'll be learning more for that, so that's super exciting. I hope you'll like, subscribe, and remember the most important thing, folks, take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.